Welcome to the Osmium Update, your weekly data and infrastructure update from the Osmium Data Group. Brought to you by Max Mortillaro and Arian Timmerman.
So hello Max and welcome to another Osmium update. I'm not going to say which number we're on. I'm just going to say it's a pleasure as always to talk to you. And so there's a couple of things that we need to discuss, I guess. We have had we've had two blog posts or LinkedIn posts, how you want to call it. It doesn't really matter that much. One was on Anchore and one was on Scality. So let's start with Anchore. We've spoken with them at KubeCon in London. Um, Interesting talk, to be fair. For me, it was interesting in the sense that I would say SBOM is a software bill of material, and it's mainly used within the developer world. Will be a guideline in the development process, if you want to put it like that, for building it all up, getting everything in there, but also making it secure. So you did a short introduction and a short overview of what we were talking about at the KubeCon conference with one of the people of Encore. What's your vision on it?
So thank you, Ariane, and as always, a pleasure to be here and joining you for this observe update. So Anchore is a really interesting solution. I think you already gave the laid the groundwork, the foundation here for the topic. Software bill of materials is really interesting. Apparently, it's nothing new from what we heard discussing with Anchore because you can do that, and a lot of people and developers, or people in the DevOps and DevSecOps space use that to generate software bill of materials. So it's a kind of a standard format. I understand that there are maybe some variants, but there are there's some interpreting to that, and you can generate that through command line tools and so on. The challenge is that, so obviously the benefits are clear, right? I mean, it allows you to understand the provenance of your components which are running within your applications, because your application may have dependencies on other tools, on other, GitHub libraries and so on. So it helps build this kind of provenance and know what you have, so that when you have a vulnerability, in theory, you can find that. The problem is that this is done through command line. It's done kind of manually. You need to run into each container, then you need to aggregate the data, and you need to understand what's going on. And that's where this solution from Anchore comes in. It allows you to execute that all kind of at scale, on all of your systems, and it allows you to aggregate this data into their platform. They released very recently, and it was the topic of the post. They released a kind of management plane, so you can aggregate all of the data from those SBOMs. In the what Anchore does, it checks for known vulnerabilities, known issues, and is going to report on your estate based on the data from your SBOMs. It's able to tell you very comprehensively what potential vulnerabilities are here, whether there is some stuff that you need to look at, and so on. And it seems to integrate with some other stuff. So it's really interesting because, so let's put it that way. If you're just running a bunch of containers here and there, which are kind of, for a small project, you probably don't need Anchore. But if you're using containers at scale, and not just containers, but you're building your own stuff, you have your own teams of developers, and everybody is as some kind of involvement, and you have put in place those cloud native practices within your organization, then it really makes sense to think about that, right? Because it allows you to understand provenance, make sure that your code is secure, and so on. So I would say that's the key point for me with Anchore. So they just launched recently. We wish them well, and to be followed.
Yeah, absolutely. And one of the things that you mentioned was the integration with Source and all that kind of security stuff that's going on, which is really important. And a lot of companies are looking for those kinds of things, especially on the development side, because you want to be safe. We're always talking about ransomware, immutability, and all that kind of stuff. And that brings me to the next contendant. We have been talking to Scality for years. You might be even better with them because their origin is kind of French, right? So for me, that's just a petit peu, but for you, it's much more close to your heart. But no, it's interesting to see what Scality is doing. In the blog post that you've put on the Osmium website, you go into two major topics that we've been discussing with them. One is on the integration with Veeam for immutability, which is a very important thing. One of the customers I'm working with at the moment is looking into immutability, and it's good to know that you can easily do that. Be it on premises, be it in the cloud, it doesn't really matter that much, but having a solution, especially a solution like Scality and Artesca and all that kind of stuff, where you can make sure that you have an immutable backup that can't be tampered with, is really important for all organizations, I would say. So that's the first one. And the second one is on Scality XP. Did I say that correctly?
Ring XP,
Ring
yes.
XP. Okay. So,
Yeah.
which is performance that can do performance as well. So
I think we can start probably with first with Ring XP. So Ring XP, as you said, it's a kind of a high performance implementation which of the object storage from Scality. So Ring. What is important is that it is built more or less on the same foundation, like shared nothing architecture. It's using some kind of a very interesting and complex, on the back end kind of thing with keys, etc., etc. The way it works, I wouldn't remind that right now in the call, but it's a really interesting architecture. What they've done is they have kind of improve this to work with AI workloads. So it's really designed to be much more reactive, to have better latencies. It's able to consistently achieve latencies. I mean, sub millisecond latency. I think they talked about 500 microseconds for the standard setup. And then if you go with NVMe and you implement some extra optimizations, I think that the key thing there with the extra optimization is the protocol that you use. So it allows you to do high ingest, but with very low latencies compared to what Ring was doing generally. If you remember when we were writing market research for a known analyst company, one of the challenges we had with Ring is that the Ring was always ending up with the niche players somehow, right? Because it's a mature and proven architecture, and Ring also has a limited set of features. The thing with Ring, and I'm not talking about Ring XP, is that Ring is really, really good at what it does. Ring is really good with high throughput sequential workloads. With those kind of workloads, it's one of the best solutions out there. So very specialized, to centralize huge amounts of Splunk logs and stuff like that. I mean, the guys from Scality, and call out here to Giorgio Reni and Paul Speciale, check out those guys. They will tell you what the solution does. It's really good. Now, the thing they've done with Ring XP is that it's kind of breaking this kind of niche classification, because Ring XP is now capable of doing much more and to manage AI workloads, and you know that those workloads are really demanding in terms of performance and latency, right? And the thing there as well is that this sub-millisecond latency around 500 microseconds, if I remember well, is when you're using the S3 protocol. Now, what Scality has done as well is that they have designed a lightweight kind of AI protocol. I forgot the name, but the idea is that you're not having to deal with the, let's say, the complexities and potential inefficiencies that are inherent to the S3 protocol. You just use this lightweight protocol to access the storage directly, and you get even better latencies when you're running Ring XP on NVMe. So that's in a nutshell what's happening with Ring. Now, why is it important? I mean, that thing for for Scality is that it's opening the door to much more use cases, right? So it's great for them. Arian, did I talk about Artesca yet or not? Because I'm getting a bit confused now.
not yet.
Very good. Very good. Okay, so let me explain about Artesca now. So Artesca is this kind of focus, zoom, good. So, you know, live recording is always crazy. So Artesca is a lightweight object storage also that is delivered by Scality. It's very lightweight in the sense that it's delivered on containers, very simple, easy to install. What they've been working on here was, first of all, implementing or providing immutable storage, which is why, getting back to the point you had at the beginning, very important. And Scality has implemented a kind of a concept which they call Core 5. You'll check it up on their website. It's kind of a few principles based on which they want to build their architecture, be it for Ring or for Artesca. And it's around, immutability, making sure that the code is in place properly, and et cetera, et cetera. It's kind of a security framework that they're implementing. But most importantly, what they announced is that Artesca is completely compliant now, fully compliant with the Vim data platform, especially the part which is around the backups. I forgot the name. I'm just going to look it up. Yeah, I can find it, but whatever. And what is key here with that is that they are the first solution to fully implement all of the Vim object backup, target. And if you're working with Vim, you know that they have a specific object store, kind of way of addressing things. And why it's important, because Vim is hugely popular. Some people say it's the first data protection solution in the world. I mean, they're very popular with organizations of all sizes, and Vim is very popular in the EMEA region as well. And so the fact that we have a data protection solution which is very popular in a region, and we have here a European kind of organization because it has French DNA, even though they have also offices in the Silicon Valley, is also something which is compelling, because you can get that object storage in a lightweight format, and also you get the benefit of something which is lightweight and easy to install. So that's it in a nutshell for me. I think that we are right over time. Back at you, Arian, if you have any other comments.
No, like you said, we're out of time. Let's close it with this, and looking forward to the next one. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. And don't forget to check out the article on Artesca and on LinkedIn for Anchore. Thank you, Arian.
We'll put it below.
Yeah, thanks.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
Please feel free to follow us for more insights. You can find us on Blue Sky at Osmium Data Group, and on LinkedIn also via Osmium Data Group. Thank you, and see you next week for another Osmium update.